Before you rush to apply for HELB, stop. Did you know that if you don't report to campus but receive HELB funds, you'll still be forced to repay? And what if I told you some students receive less than 16,000 shillings per year, while others get over 200,000? Let's talk facts and not rumors. This is the ultimate guide to the HELB loan in Kenya. Who qualifies, how it is disbursed, the repayment rules, the do's and don'ts, and the shocking truth about the new banding system. And we are also going to use practical examples for you to understand. Stay true to the end. This video might save you for a lifetime of debt. And oh, by the way, 90% of you watching haven't subscribed. Please take a second, hit that red subscribe button, and support the work we do here at the Kenyan Student. And without much further ado, let's get into it. So, what exactly is HELB? HELB, or the Higher Education Loans Board, is the Kenyan's government-run student loan scheme. Its mission is to make higher education affordable for students from low and middle income backgrounds. Okay, so for you to actually receive HELB, you have to be accessible to higher education. So it is accredited institutions that can only, if you're not in an accredited institution, that is a university that is accredited by the government or the TVET, then you cannot be able to get this particular HELP loan. Okay. The next thing is the eligibility criteria. Who qualifies? Okay. So remember, um, for you to qualify, one, you have to be a Kenyan citizen because the applicants must be Kenyan citizen to qualify for this HELP funding. You have to have a valid national ID. Applicants must have a valid Kenyan national ID, but this sometimes can bend the rules a bit when you have not yet attained the 18 years, whereby you go on to use the details of your parent, and therefore they are the ones who will be receiving funds on your behalf until you get your ID, and then you have to transfer all those details. Okay, so that can be that we can actually bend that rule here and there, so that can happen. Then you have to be admitted to a recognized institution, either a university, a college, or a TVET for a degree, a diploma, or even a certificate program, if that is allowed. Okay, let's get to the next. So let's look at the funding parts. Remember, they are student centered model. So remember, HELP does not give everyone the same amount. Okay, it uses a new system called banding that was introduced in 2023 to 2024. So remember, there are 5 bands, from band 1, which is those people who are very needy, to band 5, which are least needy. Okay, and how do they actually have to determine all these things? How do they happen to place you in these bands, as you can see them that have been able to be displayed there on your screen? One is family income. How is your income? Is the number of siblings you have, the type of school you attended, is it a national, is it a day school, the orphan status, or even the single parent household, and the county of origin for the equity purposes. Okay, so once they have accessed that, then the HELB will decide how much of your tuition they will cover via loan, scholarship, or none at all. So upkeep allowance also depends on your band. So as you can see in band 1, which is the most needy students, the scholarship is 70, the HELB 25, parental contributions 5, the upkeep loan is 60,000 shillings. For the moderately needy students, you can see scholarship is 60, the loan is 30, parents 10, and then the upkeep is 55,000. For the middle income, 50% scholarship, 30% loan, 20% contribution from the parents or the household, upkeep 50. Then band 4, 40% scholarship, 30 loan, 30 parent, 45 loan. Then the least needy students, 30 scholarship, 30 HELB loan, 40 contribution, and then 40 for the upkeep. Okay, so that's how basically those have been placed to be. So let's give a practical example, for instance, for a medical student in Kenya, as of course as you can see where we have gotten those details according to the star, some verified information from Facebook, Business Kenya, and so forth and so on. You can see in band 1, those who are placed in band 1 had got a scholarship of 420,000. Remember, medicine is approximately 612,000 shillings a year. Okay, so 420,000 shillings is the scholarship. They will not have to pay the scholarship, but now they're given a loan for 150,000. Now this one they will have to repay when they start working, and then the parent also has to contribute 30%. Okay, remember, this is totally, or it is different from the upkeep. So on top of this, now the student will be given upkeep and is an individual. But remember now, this money that is being shown on your screen is going direct to the university. Okay, you can be able to see band 2 how that is happening. There is 6,000 scholarship, then they are paying 180,000, and from there that becomes consistent all the way down there for the HELB loan. But now for the parental contribution, that increases. Okay, so just to ensure that you are not given very much a lot of loans to pay. So at the end of the day, you find that the least student is actually paying 240,000 shillings from the government, to be precise. I mean, 240,000 shillings from the parents who are going out to pay for this particular their kin. So that is just an example of how um, those bans were put to be. Okay, so we get to the next part, which is now the application process. So how do you register and what exactly do you need? So you have to get to the HELB portal, which is www.help.co.ke. I'm not really going to give that practical example, but because it's pretty much a way forward, it's something you can follow up. They have a very good system there. So that you have to have your national ID and your admission letter. If not so, they will direct you how you can use your parents or guardians details. And then now you have to have your KCSE and the KCP result slips. You also have to have your parents or the guardian's ID copies, their bank details, which are active account. So that's where you'll be receiving your upkeep from. You also have the passport photo and then three guarantors with ID numbers, especially for the undergraduate loans. So you have to have three guarantors. That is people who, if you don't pay that loan, then they will be answerable. They will tell the government where you are so that you can pay that loan eventually. So after submitting, you will download and print the form, have it signed and stamped by maybe your school chief and parents and so forth and so on. Then you can also drop the hard copy at the Huduma Center or even send it directly to the help offices as they will inform you at the portal. Those instructions will be given to you direct. Okay, so then pretty much something very, very important here. Remember that the tuition fees that the help gives will be given direct to the university. You never touch that money. So don't start planning for it. Okay, you might decide, oh, I might put it in a money market fund, it grows, then before the deadline I pay. No, 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 you will not see that money. It will just reflect in the university. Okay, the upkeep allowance is not going to be sent to the students' bank accounts or your M-Pesa number if that's what you used. Then to ensure accurate details, provide the correct bank or M-Pesa details registered under your name so that you avoid delays. Okay, we have also disbursement failure rate, whereby approximately 40% of the disbursements will fail due to the incorrect account details or changes in contact information. So ensure that you are good to go as far as those details are concerned. Okay, so let's go to something a bit tricky here, the repayment rules. So repayment rule starts 1 year after graduation, whether or not you've secured a job. Those are according to the changes that have come. I don't know that they have been effected, but those are according to what we know as of now. Okay, otherwise in the past it's up to you and up and until you get a job. But nowadays it's 1 year after graduation, whether or not you secure a job, then now we start having interest rate. Okay, 4% annually. So now if you default, then it leads to penalties. You are blacklisted on the CRB, and then the salary deductions if you are employed. Okay, so if you get employed, then the government expects that your employer start deducting this from your salary. So the earlier you start repaying is better. So even 500 per month shows commitment at least. Okay, so remember that that is the interest rate. It has an interest of up to 6% per annum. Then we have the administrative fee, whereby it's a one-time fee of 500 that is charged upon disbursement of the HELB loan. And then there is a repayment period, whereby it begins 1 year after graduation and upon securing employment, whichever comes first. Okay, then monthly installments, whereby it is determined based on the total loan amount and agreed upon repayment period. So you have to uh, know about those details to be precise on them. Okay, so the consequences of non-reporting, this is important because we have had cases of people who applied for these loans but they did not actually report the university, either for medical reasons or other reasons, or even they decided to go for direct applications and they went to be private sponsored student. So the problem is, if you had already applied and you have all the forms, remember coops will even be sending you the money. Now the problem comes in if you start eating this money and you don't inform them that you actually decided to use another route. So what happens? They still record that as a loan. So you'll finish whatever years you are in the private institution, your parents, your guardians have paid for your fees, only for you to start getting the information after 4 years that you know what, you actually have a loan that you did not use. And therefore, my advice is if you end up applying for these loans and then you end up changing your mind, you don't want to go to these universities or you change course, you have to inform the HELB loan. Inform them. You inform the HELB because that is an organization. Inform them that you know what, I've actually changed this. Please stop disbursing my funds to the university. Stop everything you are doing on my side so that these don't accrue to loans. Very, very important to do. Otherwise, you'll end up with loans that you never utilized in the first place. Okay. So again, we also have the penalties, as I've said. They can even take legal action against you. That is, if you really decline to pay those loans. So what are the advantages and of course the disadvantages of HELB? Affordable financing, they are low interest loans compared to commercial loans. So therefore making the education accessible, right? There's comprehensive support. They will cover both the tuition fees, your living expenses. And remember, we're also going to have a full video on the real cost of living so that you come prepared as you go to university, you know exactly the cost of living as it is. Flexible repayment, at least they're giving you a grace period after graduation so that before you start repaying this, so you have to secure your employment so that you start paying the loan. Then there are potential delays whereby sometimes you've heard of help funds, they are delayed due to administrative issues, or even if you give incorrect information, so you have to expect some of those delays here and there. There's debt accumulation. If you fail to pay HELB loans on time, they lead to increased debt due to the interest and the penalties. Okay. Then you also have the strict penalties, whereby the non-repayment of HELB loans will result in legal actions and even negative credit listing. Whereby in future, if you want to get other loans, you want to build a house, you want to buy a car, these will be checked and they will say that you don't comply. So simple things like this, you don't pay. What about those big things? So you have to get these details right in the first place. Okay. So what are the do's and the don'ts? The do's: provide accurate information and up-to-date information so that you avoid delays. Regularly check your health portal so that you stay informed about any updates, disbursements, or even changes to application status. Notify help of any changes. Is when I told you, if you change even your bank details or anything else, notify them so that this money does not go to some account that is blocked or something. I mean, just be keen on this. Begin repayment promptly. So start repaying that help loan on time so that you avoid penalties. Okay. Don't use funds for non-education purposes. I don't know. I don't want to give advice for this. I know you have not yet gotten to university, but as much as you can, try to use it for your living purposes and everything. That is up to you. I mean, you're the one who is going to repay the loan, so it's up to you. Whatever you want to use it for, you are now an adult. Avoid providing false information, as you said, because once they get to that, you might end up being disqualified. But if you want to use it, I don't have anything else against that, but use it in a smart way. I know there's a lot of information out there. I know lie that your parents have done this and that. I mean, it's up to you. Do not ignore repayment obligations because again they can negatively impact your credit rating. And I have said that more than enough. And therefore, that brings us almost to the end. So now you know that help is not just a loan, it's a system that can either empower your future or trap you in debt. So if this helped you or someone you care about, share this video right now. Tag your classmates, your cousins, or anyone joining university this year.